Hello everybody, welcome back to Learning Biology. So today in this video we're going to start chapter 15, a new chapter. This chapter is quite a big chapter and I'm afraid there will be more things you need to remember and recite, especially starting from 15.2 when we talk about the eyes, alright? So anyways, this video will only focus on 15.1, a very short section, and just as an introduction. So before getting really started, I would like to remind you, some of you may have a very smart and curious mind about, hey, so say for example, like in chapter 12, you may wonder, like the ovum is inside the flowering plant, right? So it's inside the ovary. But then you may wonder, how does the pollen tube get inside? And then you say, okay, so it's because of the pollen grain. The pollen grain will germinate and it will become a pollen tube. And the pollen tube will bring the male gametes to the female gametes. But is it really like that? Is it really that easy? Like, for example, if you, like, for the last step, it's like the pollen tube will enter the ovule through the micropyle. But how does the pollen tube make sure that it can get into the micropyle, but not the other parts? Right? So this is the first thing, first example. And then the other example will be like for our human body. How do we know that certain signal inside our body? Like when do we feel full? Why do we feel full after eating a meal? Until when? Why is it like if we eat slower, it's more, we only need to eat fewer food or less food to feel that, hey, I'm getting full. But why are we eating faster? Then, in that case, I will need to eat more food to make myself feel full. Alright? So all this feeling is actually a way to respond to our environment. Right? So a lot of actions actually coming from us detecting the stimulus. Stimulus is like 一个刺激啦 from the environment and we'll make some response to it. Alright? So that's the introduction for this chapter 15. Alright, so after that, let's get started. So there are some keywords we need to know. First of all, some of them are mentioned just now. The first one is called the irritability. So if you still remember, irritability is so as the chapter 14, growth and development. All of these words, growth, development, irritability, these three are actually the features of a living organism. Of course, reproduction is also one of them. Alright, so we are now actually learning one by one. For the irritability, it actually means that the detection of changes in the environment by the organism. And these changes are called the stimulus. So stimuli here, try to say it, stimuli is the plural form, and stimulus, M-U-L-U-S, would be the singular form, 單數啦。So other than detecting the changes, other than detecting the stimuli, we are also responding to them. Okay, so for example, just now, we talk about the example of feeling full, right? So say, for example, after we eat a meal, there is something inside our body. Of course, you know the name of it afterwards. So there is something inside our body telling your brain that, hey, you're full already. You're like 80% full, 90% full. So it will tell your brain, tell your body to stop eating. Otherwise, he will feel bad afterwards. Maybe something like that. And then your brain will give out this signal. After like analyzing the signal, he'll give out a response. Or he'll give out an order to your muscle to respond. He'll give you a feeling like, hey, your stomach is actually feeling full. Okay, this is the brain after analyzing the message and then tells your stomach to give you this feeling. Okay, of course, in some other responses which we'll learn, like for example, if we touch something very hot, why would you just take away your hand immediately. Of course, it's for protection, right? But actually, the brain feels, after analyzing the message, that the skin feels something very hot. The brain will tell your arms or tell your hand muscle to take it away, to like contract and take away your hand so that your hand will not be harmed further. Alright, so this is a way we detect and respond to the environment. Okay, and this ability, we call it the irritability. Irritability. So there are lots of reasons why we're doing this, and they're just examples. Alright, the first one is to obtain food. That means to get food. So for example, the butterfly will like smell the nectar. They know where the nectars are, and then they will try to find it and eat it. And then for leaves, okay, so they will detect the light source and they will try to go towards there to get more sunlight so that they can carry out more photosynthesis. The next one, we also need to use this stimulability to find mates. Like we'll need to see the display of the opposite sex. Alright, so it's like peahens. So peahen, you may not know this word, but you know the word hen, H-E-N. So H-E-N is like a female chicken, right? And so the peahen will need to see the opposite sex, the peacocks, alright, and see how it displays. Usually, in the bird world, it's like the more beautiful you are, or the better dance the bird has, that means he is also sexually more capable. That's, in other words, that means he is actually stronger. And somehow, if this hen mates with that male, a stronger male, then her offspring will also be stronger. Alright, so they tend to look at the displays or look at the dancing, the movement of several opposite sexes, and then they will choose one to mate with. Alright? And last but not least, this is also very important, it's like escaping from danger. We always like focus on the environment, and if we are in a unfamiliar place, 一個唔熟悉嘅地方啦， and then we will try to get more alert and then trying to avoid any source of dangers. Alright, so the rabbit here is like having a very large ear. Of course, one of the reason is to like hear or try to feel where the predators are. Predators is the one hunting the rabbits. So it can be human, it can be foxes, wolves, so on and so forth. Alright, so after they know where their predators are, they can run away quickly. So let me give you one very simple question. It is not in this book, and I would like you to know or find out, why does rabbits always or usually have this large ear? Of course, one of them is for hearing the sound and then escape from danger. This is one reason only. But there is another reason. Try to get it. Alright? So when we talk about how do we detect the environment, it's very easy. You would tell me something like, okay, we use our eyes to see, we use our mouth to taste, and so on and so forth, right? So these are all called the sense organs. They are organs, right? It's very easy to understand. And inside these sense organs, there are actually a lot of receptors. And what are these receptors made up of? They're made up of sensory cells. Alright, so there are different types of receptors which we can see in the following table. Different receptors will be used to detect different types of stimulus. Alright, so this table, it's quite common sense, I'd say. So first of all, we'll look at the sense organ. It's very easy. The eye, ear, nose, tongue, and skin. And then there are different types of receptor. Just earlier we said about that, right? So we use the word photoreceptor. I just want you to like get a sense about this word photo. So photo actually means related to light, alright? And then there is the mechanoreceptor. So mechano, this word will mean physics, just like mechanism, just like mechanical injuries. If you remember chapter 13, we talk about the amino fluid trying to protect the embryo from mechanical injuries. Alright, so mechanical 就物理上啦 alright 一啲壓力啦 some kind of pressure. Okay, and ear, because if you know physics well, you know that sound is not like a source of energy. Sound is like vibration, right? So it's actually related to mechanicals. Alright, So, and then the nose is about chemo. Chemo, of course, is related to chemistry. 一啲化學嘅嘢啦。So chemistry, so we actually are smelling the chemicals in the air. And so as tongue, tongue is another has another type of chemoreceptor, tasting the chemicals in food. And skin, we have two types. One of them is mechano as well. So mechano, again, this time it's just like I smack you on the face. Why will you feel painful? Oh, it's not painful actually. Why will you feel like there is a hand on your face when I smacked you? It's because you can feel the pressure. And there's the thermoreceptor, and that's where the temperature changes. Of course, just now I said you feel painful. Painful is also one type of receptor, which we did not mention here. Alright? So this is the last part, just telling you very briefly what is actually going on from the stimulus to response. Alright? So first of all, our receptor will detect the stimuli from the environment. After that, these three words are very important. We always need to say they would, and then will generate nerve impulses. So nerve impulses is like 神經脈衝. Alright, so nerve impulses, you may not have heard of this, but you will heard of nervous system. 一個神經系統啦. So what is actually going on? What are the messages inside the nervous system? That will be the nerve impulses. Alright, so they will send along the nerves to the coordinator. The coordinator is just like the coordinator of the classroom, just like a monitor. So it will control and coordinate every action of your body. And usually, that will be the brain. I just say usually, not 100%. We'll learn that in next section. So, and then this coordinator will interpret. That means like analyzing and give another impulse, give another nerve impulse to give you a sensation, a feeling. So, for example, you feel like you're getting full, feel like your hand is touching something very hot. All right. So this sensation, again, this nerve impulses will be sent to your effector. Effector means the region that give you effect, that give responses. Okay. So that's basically all about that, but we can summarize it in a more brief diagram. Okay, so this would be the diagram. Okay, so first of all, the coordinator, that is the brain, and usually the nervous system. We will not really learn about this endocrine system until chapter 18, so don't worry about this, all right? And then this coordinator will link the receptor and effector. Receptor, very easy, just like the word receive. Receive, that means 收集啦. Okay, so it is like receiving messages. Effector is like giving effect. So it's like responding. Okay, and then the last one is like there are two coordinator, as said. One of them is the nervous system, 一個神經系統啦 and the other one is called the endocrine system. Endocrine 就叫做一個分泌系統啦 OK， 咁而 endo is 內分泌系統 Alright, but anyways, we'll talk about this later. First one, stimulus detected from the environment by your receptor, and then it generates a nerve impulse sent to your coordinator. We analyze it, we interpret it, and then send nerve impulse again to the effector, and your effector will give responses. So that's basically all about this introduction. Okay, so please try to get ready for this 15.2 and we'll continue. Alright, see you in the next video, and that's all. Bye bye.